Okay, yes, we're going to use the S word because you're not supposed to use it on television. It has been drilled into us from journalism school. You don't talk about suicide on television, but we're just throwing that right out because we need to talk about it. Because so far, that hasn't worked. There are some experts who worry about suicide being talked about openly because they feel, well, it'll give other people ideas. Whereas other people, which is a much newer way of thinking and a better way of thinking, I think, is that at least it lets people know they're not alone. So what we had Highway 400 northbound closed, still is, after a man jumped from the bridge this morning. Our thoughts, our prayers go out to him and go out to to whoever he left behind and what he must have been going through. So what we're doing right now is the reason we're talking about it is to let everybody else know there is help and you are not alone.
And that message, you are not alone, is the message that, so many people are chiming and saying, thank you for coming forward and having this conversation that is much needed. Stephanie's saying, so much respect for having an open and honest discussion about suicide this morning. Thank you. Someone else was telling us, I lost a good friend to suicide and this needs to be talked about. And Barb also saying, such an important conversation. We can't end the stigma if we refuse to talk about it. And that's the stigma that continues to, be so prevalent in society because we are afraid to talk about it, and we are afraid to come forward and say that we need help.
And we're afraid to say we need help, and there are so many places available.
Yeah, and on our website, if you go to bttoronto.ca and you click on the show notes button at the top middle of the site, of the page, we actually have a few links here in today's show notes, along with, everything else that's on the show today, resources where you can get help. Everything from mentalhealthhelpline.ca, stuff for kids, there are live chats, Facebook chats, and, there are people available 24/7, be it phone, internet, reach out to them if you have any questions, if you need resources, because there is help out there all the time.
And online is such a great way because a lot of people, because of stigma, they want to remain anonymous and they feel even talking to someone, they don't even want them to hear their voice. But now there are 24/7 chats online.
Yeah, live chats. They have Facebook chats. Kids Helpful, for example. Some services also have text numbers, too. So if you don't want to pick up that phone and have that conversation, just reach out via text or Facebook chat. So. Yeah. Great resources there.
And a lot of people say the same thing. They say the first time they reach out was really hard, but then they were absolutely blown away and surprised by the fact that other people have felt like them before, that they're not alone, and that there is help, and the sun did rise the next day.
Yeah, and exactly. They're there to not only give you help, but to help you realize and realize that there is hope out there. And like you said, the sun will rise. They're not there to just, they're there to empathize with you, but they're there to help you as well. So, whatever help you're looking for, they are there for you.
Yeah, and I don't want to further victimize the family or this person who did this. What they must have been going through must have been just hell, absolute hell. And so. Let's just hope that by talking about it, maybe, just maybe, somebody else might make a different decision.
Exactly.
So, all right, thank you very much. We're going to take a break on Breakfast Television. We'll be